Alright guys, Mack again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. After layering heavy criticism onto Huke for the first couple of months of his OpTic tenure, Karma has now seemingly changed his mind to a certain degree and said that Huke is indeed a worthy partner to Shotzzy for this OpTic Texas team. That raises interesting questions going into the offseason, but aBeZy says he would drop both Huke and Ghosty and get in their counterparts on the Seattle Surge as it stands. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I'd greatly appreciate it. This was a funny one as well. I don't know if this is coming from Activision necessarily, or if it's coming from Riot Games saying, hey guys, like maybe we should stop doing this. But I do think it's classic Activision just killing the fun if they are involved in this, because guys over in Fortnite have been building the a lot of the fan favorite Call of Duty maps here in the game itself, and Activision has now issued DMCA takedowns for these Call of Duty content made in Fortnite creator mode. So I mean, I don't know, Activision, they just love all the money, don't they? I mean, they can't help themselves. Also, big update from the Breaking Point side. We've been working behind the scenes, like Lion Man and the guys have been absolutely killing iLLeY with the designs, and all the guys working on the development for this. On a new concept for our website, there's going to be a big upgrade coming relatively soon. Not sure when exactly we're going to be able to get this rolled out. Certainly by next season. Hopefully, maybe by champs. I guess we'll see. But the website itself is going to be way better, way cleaner, and it's going to be a lot better on mobile as well. I know we've talked about an app as well. Like, an app's are really complicated to develop and make happen, and so maybe down the line. But for now, we just want to make sure the mobile version of the site is just way better than it was before. So that's the plan for the immediate term here. But yeah, so stay tuned for that one, definitely. Also a quick update, because we saw earlier today that Donny Temp made Nameless's kind of top 15 player pyramid list here, and there was some controversy as to whether that should or shouldn't have been the case. We see Huke on here as well. We see Prod on here. We see Sib on here. And those are definitely some observations to make in a second. I thought it was cool that Temp actually went onto the website here and looked at the LAN performances from the players so far this year. Local area network, says Donny, and these are the KDs on LAN so far. Temp's actually number 6 KD in the league, Cellium number 1, obviously, then Pred, Hydra, the only SMGs down to Afro, and then it's Octane, Temp, Scrappy, Skies, rounding out kind of the top 6 KDs on LAN so far this year. Temp had a phenomenal Major 3 as well in the series that he played there. Let's dive into the OpTic situation then, because this is the topic that comes up every so often when Huke is playing particularly well, as to what exactly their plan is going to be going into the offseason. There's been loads of different topics and discussions on this, and I mean, look, the other day, London got pretty much violated by not just randoms in ranked play throwing shade on them, but also, well, by OpTic Texas and the Los Angeles Thieves themselves over those couple of days. Now, when Huke first stepped into this roster, Karma was certainly critical of his appointment. I don't think Karma was too impressed by Huke's performance in the last couple of years, and you can understand why that would be the case. And we know that Karma was coming pretty heavy with the criticism of Huke when he made that play at, was it Major 2 against Thieves, when he made the flank all the way around an Embassy, and it was a heavily criticized play by many, and Karma especially said that's just an unforgivable play you do not make. And so Karma was arguably looking for reasons why Huke wasn't the right appointment, but it seemed like over time, with how things are working with Shotzzy as it stands, and given their pedigree as well, won the World Championship together on Dallas back in the 2020 days, and you know, looked fantastic together at the start of the Cold War season as well, that maybe it was a wise move to do what they did. And also, you've got to think on a map like Expo, the way that Huke and Shotzzy play, and this is potentially going to be a key part of their kind of development, the OpTic team going forwards, because their controller's been their worst game mode so far this year. They've won their Expo that they played, okay, it was against London, but 1-0 on Expo so far. If they can keep that trend going on Expo, and it does feel to me that Huke and Shotzzy, the way they play, should be effective on this map for sure, and it certainly seems like Shotzzy believes that is the case. That could be key to their turnaround, right? And I also feel like there's an extent of Huke being, you know, people forget the player that Huke can be. You know, a quick short view back to the past here. This is the 2021 Stage 1 of the Pro League, the Cold War days, and these were the top 10 players of those stages. Simp, of course, was number 1. Clay, though, 99 overall, had a great first stage for the New York Subliners guys, but then Huke was right up there with Simp, really, in terms of the top performing SMG of Stage 1. They made the grand finals here. Huke was the best player, arguably, in the game for a brief period of time. Remember, like, it was map 1. What was that map called again? Crossroads, I think, and Huke dropped like 40 kills against some good team when he was playing for Dallas. Like, he had a phenomenal map, and it was all looking good for him. And then shortly after this, he fell off a little bit, and then he was benched by the Dallas Empire, and ever since then, his crew has been something of a roller coaster, to be honest. But now he's an OpTic and he's playing well, and Karma was making clear when they played London that he's kind of changed his mind to an extent on what he thinks about Huke. Initially, he was very critical. We saw that at the time, and now he says, well, look, Huke's doing well. He's playing at a high level. He's he's performing, you know, where they need to be, and also plays very well with Shotzzy, and you know that the Shotzzy-Huke duo is going to work well, it's going to be effective, and they seem to mesh well off each other as well, and we know what Huke's ceiling can be as well. So that's the debate. Karma still said, though, in fairness, a few weeks ago as well, that even if Huke delivers the goods, even if they win something like the World Championship, they should still consider the Pred option if he's out there on the table. And this has been a debate here between Parasite and aBeZy as well. Parasite says, look, I would potentially get rid of Huke and bring Pred in, but I would definitely keep Ghosty on the team, whereas aBeZy says, get rid of both of them and bring in both Pred and Sib, form the God Squad, and see how it goes from there.
I mean, that just can't happen. Like, I love the play out of Kyler. Like, if you're going to go here, just go. Worst case, you die and you lose the round, right? But if you just go like that, I mean, that could happen. It probably shouldn't have happened, but I mean, you got to commit to it. I mean, like, listen, bro, I was one that was, like, not, like, super high on Kyler when we first picked him up. Like, I thought it was kind of crazy. But, I mean, he's, like, proved himself. Like, every once in a while, you know, he might have a stinker, but I don't know. I think it's just something with him and Shotzzy together, dude, to be honest. There's just something about when they're playing together.
Let's say if they were to win it all.
Yeah, just win.
Even if they were placed, like, top 2, top 3 for whatever reason, which I think they can. I think I wouldn't mind them going after Pred still, just because that guy is an abomination. But at the same time, I think it would be a mistake unless Dan is getting mega turned on to drop Dan. And I just think, like, some people
wait. Even if Huke plays better than Dan, you still think they should just drop Huke and not Dan?
Reason being, for me, is a lot of people like to say, you know, IGL stuff's like overrated, underrated, whatever. But I think, especially if they go after Pred is coming from a system where he's almost basically like playing with somebody that is very selfless and is letting him kind of do whatever he wants and just like doing the bitch role, bro. Like, Lamar is essentially doing the bitch role. Like, it's a fact. He always tell you he's got the ultimate green light. In a system with Dashy and Shotzzy and even Sib sometimes, I don't know who's going to take that back seat. Them getting rid of Dan, if the results continue to be good, unless he's getting absolutely twerked on, would be a mistake. Going after Pred, I wouldn't be mad at, even if Huke is playing pretty good, just because Pred is such a commodity. And you also got to take into effect that if they don't get Preds, that means somebody else is getting Pred. You're basically making the competition better by giving up the opportunity to take this guy, which I'm sure he already wants to come to this team. So I don't know, bro. It's tough. Like I said, though, unless Dan's getting absolutely slammed, I think it would be stupid to drop Dan.
I mean, I'm personally dropping them both. I'm building this God Squad no matter what. I feel like...
So this is definitely a matter of major debates throughout the community at the moment. I thought it was kind of funny that Parasite gave all that good explanation as to why he would prefer to keep Ghosty on the team, which I definitely think is valuable as well. Like, there's not many players that can IGL like Ghosty can in his particular role that are actually going to be an upgrade from Ghosty himself. Okay, you can look at an Arcitys, you can look at like maybe even a Clayster, and there's some other options out there, but in terms of players that are going to fit well with Dashy and Shotzzy and Huke and those guys, or even Pred potentially, we'll discuss that in a second. There's not many other options other than Ghosty. Now, if you bring Sib in, it does have its consequences from the downside perspective in terms of leadership and how that's going to work exactly, especially with no real coach that OpTic have at the moment. Like, you know, they're still running with the kind of coachless philosophy. Okay, JP is kind of their coach, but doesn't really do what Rambo used to do as well. And we know that Rambo yesterday admitted that he's pretty much secluded from the OpTic team and doesn't get too involved. So, big debate going on there. The point that Parasite made, though, I thought was valid, is like, look, if you don't get Pred as OpTic, you let Pred go somewhere else, because other teams are going to be interested in Pred. There's no doubt about it. Like, you know, teams like potentially Thieves, potentially even FaZe, we'll see about that one, but all the top teams will be probably throwing a bag at Pred. I can see that happening now, because why would you not as it stands? The level of consistency he showed an impact in that particular role has been practically unparalleled over the last couple of years, and especially especially with the personality side that he's got as well. And like, he's an ideal acquisition in and out of the server. So many teams will want his services. Seattle will try and keep him around. I think they will struggle to keep him around. But if OpTic don't get him, another team will. And that is, I think, maybe part of OpTic's, it's got to be part of OpTic's thought process here, because if OpTic stick with this roster, it depends how well they do. It depends how well the World Championship goes and Major 4 and Major 5 go. But if they win champs with this team, I can't imagine they're going to change. I mean, even if they come second at champs, like, it would be a tough call to make that decision. And Huke's numbers here at Major 3 overall, very good. 83 overall in terms of the numbers. Doesn't really mean too much though. But at one point, yeah, pretty much dead flat in hard points. Search and Destroy 1.24. Like, with Shotzzy playing as he was, that's going to be good enough to get the job done when you've got a guy like Dashy on a team as well, also to deliver the same. But it can't be understated that Pred's numbers were absolutely absurd. So, you know, this is the debate that OpTic are going to have going forwards. And it is an ideal set of circumstances for Pred, because he knows that potentially OpTic and other teams are going to come knocking for him. Seattle are going to probably offer him a big bag as well to stay and say, like, build the team you want, please. I do whatever, like, just please stay on our franchise. But he's probably going to go somewhere else because he's an unrestricted free agent. So teams can offer him what they want. And there's going to be, well, a big matter of debate in the offseason what they all potentially do. We know that he wanted to go to OpTic at some point. That was his plan, right, to join the franchise in pretty much January sometime. That never came true. And maybe other teams will be able to present Pred an attractive option for another potential team. And yeah, what do you think about Karma's change of heart in a way as well? Because he now does seem to be more on board with the idea that keeping Huke could be a viable option. And because you don't really know how Pred and Shotzzy are going to play. The thing is, though, when you've got Pred and Shotzzy, like, it's not going to be bad, is it? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be able to find a way to make that work, even if their play styles, you know, overlap a little bit more. It's always tough to say, because some SMGs are super versatile and Pred can play. I think Pred plays quite different to Shotzzy in a way, so I think that could work very well. But there's been some debate about that. They don't necessarily have the chemistry build up over multiple years as Huke and Shotzzy do, so it's a debate to be had. But while Karma is probably quite happy now for Huke to be staying until the end of the year, I don't necessarily think Karma's changed his mind on if Pred is an option, then you try and get him, because there's some other teams that will want to do that. The same story as well. Also to mention then here, we've got the Bounty Week games, which are coming up shortly. Now, just looking at this briefly, it does seem they've either managed to fix the schedule or find a way to get all 12 teams involved. Because I think we saw when this was initially confirmed that some of these Bounty games, like some teams like Thieves, basically got forgotten or something. But it seems like they've either resolved that or they're just kind of highlighting the ones that actually make it look like they've chosen one per team. But there definitely are some highlights here coming up this coming weekends. So these have all got $10,000 extra on the line. FaZe Ultra is a banger, good one. Looking forward to that. Obviously, Vegas versus Guerrillas is also very big for the points, not just the money. And then Thieves OpTic, another bounty game. So these are some bangers, and obviously an extra 10k makes it maybe marginally more interesting. And just some pretty cool statistics here from Brian to close out the video. The highest kill S&D map in a grand finals match. Now, the record was clearly going to go to Gunners. This was during CWL Dallas 2017, an absolute 10-map epic. I think it was game 5 of the first series on Retaliation, Search and Destroy. Gunners dropped 18 kills to beat OpTic in round 11 and take it to another series. aBeZy, though, 16 at COD Champs 2022 in the grand finals there. Clay, Priest, and Nameless even COD Champs 2014. So pretty cool stuff. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think that so many have got to 13 and a couple at 14, but anything more than that is pretty difficult to top. And even as Gunner says, get smoked, because I still have the record. That's going to be tough to beat. 18 kills in a search map in a grand finals. Like, that is a tough record to manage to top. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.